Hi guys, how are you? And thank you for stopping by my channel. What I want to talk to you guys today about is a question that I get asked very often. And one of the questions is Florida or Orlando a lucrative market to do the gig economy? The short answer is possibly, but it would depend on you as a person and also the season in which we're in here in Orlando. Now, as many of you guys know, that I live here in the Orlando, Florida area, and I do the gig economy part-time. Now, there's times where I do certain apps more than others. For instance, I might do Uber Eats more than DoorDash, or there's times where I might do DoorDash more than Uber Eats, and then there's times where I might do Instacart by season, where I might do it for so many weeks or so many months, and then I'll stop and then get back on the app again. Now, in the Orlando area, it varies. Just like any other zone, it depends, because I know a lot of people that have contacted me that are moving from one state to here. So one of the questions that I get asked is, okay, well, can I do this full time, and can I sustain myself in that market or where you live? But the thing is, like, because I've been doing it off and on for the past few years, I have seen a fluctuation in the market. And of course, when the pay decreases, gig workers usually don't do it. But I do know some people who have been on the Uber platform and also on Lyft, and they are doing pretty good. But I can't really answer that for everyone, because I know everyone is in their different seasons. And for me, I actually know the areas where to go to make some decent money. And a lot of it really is just trial and error, because that's just like any market. For instance, because I live here in Orlando, if I decide to move to Atlanta, Georgia, or even maybe Manhattan, New York, and I may have never lived there, then of course I'm going to want to know, okay, where should I go? Where should I not go? What should I avoid? And the best way to figure that out is to go into some of the Facebook groups. There is a lot of information in some of these groups that you can get from other people that are in the market that you choose to work in. I have had people to get upset because some of the zones that I work in or deliver to, they couldn't understand how is it that I may make a certain amount of money and they don't. Keep in mind that most markets and a lot of these gig jobs, they are oversaturated. So just because you see a person that may make $500 a week, you have no idea how many hours a week that they work, what times they work, what areas they work. And think about it like this, and it's not to be selfish. If everyone told you what areas that they go to be able to make some extra money, will probably go in that same area. And so if everyone is in that area, there will be no work. And I think that a lot of people have probably seen me work in specific areas. Sometimes those are the majority of the areas that I work in, but that's not always the case, because sometimes I go in different areas, or I may switch up from time to time. There's times where I have told people, okay, yes, I work in these areas, and yes, I make money from there. But then they go into the same areas and they may not have made anything. And so I can't really say if the zones that I work in will work for you, but hopefully they will. But just try it out. But right now, Orlando is growing immensely, guys. Like, I would love to do a tour for you and to show you how Orlando is growing crazy. You will see a flat land, empty land in January. And by May, there's a whole new set of apartments or condos. And the market is growing very quickly here, which means more customers and more clients, okay? But also keep in mind that the more people that move here, and as the Orlando area grows, that means that there are other people that are also interested in the gig platforms as well. And so just because a person may live in a nice area or in specific areas that may seem affluent, does not mean that they don't drive or use the gig platforms or any app-based gigs, because there are so many different platforms that people use to make extra money using their cell phone. Florida is still more suburban. Orlando is still more suburban, but I know from what I have seen and also talked to other people that markets such as like Tampa and maybe parts of Miami are usually busy. I don't usually go to Tampa that often. Like, very rarely, like every so many years, I might go to Tampa. And if I do decide to go down there to work or something like that, but that's very rare. But from what I've been told, the Tampa area is usually popping. Sometimes St. Pete, maybe Jacksonville, but I usually don't go outside of the Orlando vicinity, the Central Florida vicinity per se. So my advice is, if you are moving to the Central Florida area or to Florida and you're trying to figure out where to make some money doing the gig platforms, the only thing I can tell you is just trial and error, and don't put your eggs in one basket. I will always say that, because a lot of people get the misconception just because somebody else makes good money doing it, then they can do the same thing. And then once you get here, you're like only making like $200 a week. And you're like, how can I survive? And so make sure you have a backup plan. You're looking for work. And if you really know what you're doing, it is possible to do it full time, because I have done it before. And so you have to just know your market, know the times to go out. With most platforms, the summer times for some people and for some areas is slower. Like right now, it's very slow. If you know that summer times are going to be slow, then I would say start saving your money by fall. So that way, when the summertime comes around, you won't be broke. And that's advice even for teachers. Like, I used to work in education, and when summertime came around, there would be times where I was struggling because I did not prepare myself for summer, and then I was broke, and so you have to get like a part-time job or find something to do to be able to sustain yourself. And usually the slow time comes around mid-May, and it lasts up until probably the beginning of August or mid-August, because that's when people go back to school. People are coming back from vacations and things like that, and so most people aren't on the platforms as much as they would be during just regular seasons. And so if you know that you will probably be able to be busy from the end of August up until mid-May, my suggestion is stay busy, make sure that you're saving your money, put aside a certain percentage of each time that you get paid, and then save your money that way. And I know it can be tempting, because I've done it and I'm guilty of it. Every single time that you get paid, or maybe every so many days, you're able to cash out whenever you want, and it goes either straight to gas, to food, or to bills, and you're looking like, okay, where's the rest of my money? Can you do pretty decent in the Orlando, Florida, or in the Florida area? It depends. You can do decent, but you'll have to know where to go. Make sure that you're teaming up with the right people that's giving you advice. Sometimes people give you the wrong advice, and you're ending up in areas that are bad, or where there's very little traffic, and you won't make any money there because they don't want you to. That's the best advice I can give you, and that is just coming from my perspective. And so there might be people out there here where I live that make tons of money, because I know people like that do very well still. And then there's some that are struggling, and so you will have to just kind of pick and choose what you want to do. And there's areas that I know that are going to always be popping, despite of what season it is, whether it's summer, spring, winter, fall, whatever, they're gonna always be popping. Florida is a tourist state, and there are areas where it's a lot of traffic, and so just look at those things. Look at what areas that is gonna be congested enough to where there's gonna always be a lot of people. But at the same time, just how you're looking in those areas, there are other people that are looking too, trying to make some money. So I hope that helped you guys, and especially for those of you guys that have asked me that a lot. I get that question asked at least every other week. That they're moving down here to Florida, where should they go? Or is Florida lucrative as far as making extra money doing the gig economy? And there you have my answer. So anyway, God bless you. Have a wonderful day.